Right. It's Friday, May 18th, 2012. I'm standing about 200 feet northwest of the end of Clinton Avenue, looking southeast, and I'm going to pan to the east, looking across the Crane River to the Crane River condominiums, and you can see the former bridge that transported both water and I think it was just water to the main tannery facility on Water Street. So this is an upland area here, just prior to the wetland area, which is referred to as Area C. That area is fenced in with a chain link fence down here. And so I'm going to pan to the north, and then northwest here. You can see evidence of the remnants of Clinton Avenue here. It's paved, it's about 12 feet wide. And I'm going to report from a location further to the northwest here. Came up at the beamhouse site, the former beamhouse site, looking southeast down Clinton Avenue, the remnants of Clinton Avenue. The beamhouse here has been demolished. It's behind the chain link fence. And I'm panning to the east, now to the north, looking across Route 128 to some condominiums on the northwesterly side of 128. You might even be able to see some trucks driving by there. This is just prior, just south of the construction that's taking place on 128 right at the moment. And now as I continue panning to the west, we're going to look here at the back of the building of Hollywood Hits. And then I'll do a full pan just to go back to where I started. This service building here, it appears to be some type of a warehouse or supply building, and this is where we started. Okay, I'm standing over the Crane River right now on a trestle bridge that had caught fire, looking due south. The condominium complex is further down on Water Street. High tide, obviously. So here's the former beamhouse property that we're looking at right now. Route 128. So this is the new bridge that was recently constructed. The MBTA rail is at the top of that slope. As a matter of fact, if you look at the utility lines, it runs right along the MBTA's right of way. And 33 Cheever Street is down in this area. There's a red-tailed hawk that's flying overhead right now. Okay, we're standing underneath the bridge of the newly constructed bridge underneath 128 here. I'm looking probably west-northwest right now, and they've made a little detention basin down in here. a runoff. That's a beautiful head wall that no one's ever going to see, Paul. See some of the trucks going by here. There's a concrete truck. Okay, appropriately along the banks of the Crane River, we have either a crane or an egret who's decided to pose for us. Must have just landed because I didn't see him before. Very common seeing these species here. Apparently he doesn't mind the traffic noise. 128. Okay, I'm standing in the woods here about 30 feet off the water high tide line at Crane River right now. The area of leather scraps that were recently sampled by Weston Start. And you can see here some of the scraps that were described as being an imminent hazard. And it looks to me like this is an area that was dumped. It was a deliberate dumping area. I don't know what the intention of the workers might have been, but it's clearly a different grade than the rest of the area here. So we're northwest of Area B, approximately 40 feet off of the fence, and you can see the stake that it's a 4-foot grade stake that Weston Starts set in the ground here to identify the location. And what I'm going to do here is pan to the north and northwest and see my friend again. This looks like a great white egret. He's on the other side of the river now. No, I'm not getting a good zoom here. Here he is. Beautiful. He's looking for some fish. It's gotta be. Or she. I'm standing just outside the cemetery right now, about 50 feet off the wall. I'm looking due south at the Hollywood Hits building. And I'm going to pan here to the west. And we can see the condominiums across 128. You might be able to see some traffic driving by here. And I'm heading to the north here, and we can see the cemetery wall. It surrounds it. It's about 4.5 feet tall, granite. It's beautiful. Looking east southeast, and then back to the south here at the Hollywood Hits building. Okay, I'm standing on the edge of the beamhouse site here and on the edge of the pavement for Hollywood Hits, looking west. See Home Depot's at that large building right there. Cell tower. Looks like it's close to the Home Depot building. We're looking at the condominiums across 128. Now we're panning to the north. There's a little knoll right in this area here. It shows up on the topographic map. And then that white pine in the distance is at the cemetery, that other large, no, just the white pine. That white pine that you see there is right at the cemetery that we were just at. You can't see it. So this area here in the foreground is where they landfilled prior waste under solid waste. Under the Solid Waste Act. The former owner had a permit from the department to landfill waste in this area here, or as the 21E program likes to call on-site consolidation. And this would be an area that would be subject to an environmental institutional control, or at the Commonwealth level we call it an activity and use limitation. I'm standing along the banks, the westerly bank of the Crane River right now, right at the pipe bridge that crosses over to the Crane River Condominium East, and just spanning the banks of the river here. And 128 in the distance, and we have some ducks foraging. Or just swimming, enjoying the high tide. Looking south right now, another bridge that passes over the river. You can see, you might be able to see traffic passing over on Water Street in the distance. And panning around, this is the property here that's owned by Emmanuel Papanikolaou, former radio station. As a matter of fact, those concrete footings there represent, I believe, some cable supports, or maybe the footings for an antenna for the radio station transmission. West right now.